Right.
Recording in progress.
Right. Okay, Lamai. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
I hope you.
evening,
I hope you can hear me.
Good evening, sir.
Sandeep, can you hear me, Buddha? Yes. Good evening. Right. Okay, Lamai. Let's start our new lesson, chapter 2 of the part 2 of money and banking lesson, which is commercial banking system. Okay, the Lamai. It is one of main parts of this lesson because Lamai normally you should be able to manage any question from money creation, creation, uh, because commercial banks can create deposits. Lamai. They can expand money supply through creating new deposits. Okay, the Lamai. Only commercial bank can do that. So this part is so important, Lamai. Studying about commercial banking and how does it work and how commercial banking system creates new deposits. Okay, the Lamai. And how does it affect money supply and how commercial banks balance two conflicting objectives. There are two conflicting objectives to be balanced, Lamai: profitability and liquidity. Okay, these are the points that we are going to discuss, Lamai. Okay, under this lesson. Right. Okay. I think you have printed tute. You have printed tute, don't you, Lamai? Others, Lamai? Do you have printed tute? No. PDF. At me.
Got sir.
Right. Right. Commercial banks. The commercial banks are special. Normally in Sri Lanka, normally in Sri Lankan financial system, there are three types of financial institutions. Lamai, I have
Sir,
explained. Yes, Daru.
sir, my shared screen is not clear.
Not clear means what about now? Same. Is it okay now, Sitma? Sitma,
No, sir. No, sir.
what should I do, Buddha? Others? Clear the screen, Lamai? Can you see?
It's
Blur.
clear for me, sir.
Can't hear you. Tandil, Punara,
It's clear for me, sir.
clear for you. Others, Lamai? Sandil, Punara?
It's okay, sir.
Okay, Sitma, try to manage. I don't know what should I do, Sitma? I think it might be a problem. I don't know if it's from your side or my side. Can you manage, Sitma? Right. Thank you. Right. Okay, Lamai. Commercial banks. commercial banks can be termed as financial institutions, right? What I was talking that Sri Lankan financial system mainly lamai consists of three financial institutions. Number one, licensed commercial banks. Second one, licensed specialized bank. Third one, registered finance companies lamai. Here we are going to focus on only commercial banks lamai. Okay, only commercial banks. Commercial banks is a different, right? There is a clear difference between commercial banks and other financial institutions. Can anyone tell me why commercial bank is so special? Sandil, I think it might be a signal problem. Yes. Yeah, might be. Here also it's raining Lamai. Try to manage as much as possible, right? Okay, the Lamai. Right. Can you tell me, Lamai, why commercial bank is so special? Punara, what is the distinct character of commercial banks with compared to other financial
Providing current account
very good.
services.
Providing current account lamai. That facility or the only commercial banks can accept deposit through current accounts. Lamai. Accept deposit through current accounts. In other words, Lamai, only commercial banks can offer current account facilities to customers. Okay, the Lamai. Other financial institutions can accept deposits from general public by offering saving deposits and fixed deposits. But commercial banks are able to accept deposit through uh, fixed deposits, saving deposits, and also current account, current account or demand deposit. Yes, that is the very good. The most distinct character of commercial banks with comparison to other financial. So remember, when defining a commercial banks, yes, we need to mention that commercial banks' ability to accept deposits to current accounts or demand. Okay, Dalama, any doubt about commercial banks? Okay, commercial banks can be termed as financial institutions whose primary purpose is to accept public deposits subject to a promise of repayment when required by check. That this is talking about, this sentence is talking about demand deposits, order or otherwise. Commercial banks engage in, highlight this word that is very important, financial intermediation. This is the main function of not only commercial banks, all other, but also financial institutions, right? The main function of commercial banks is financial intermediation. Okay, the lamai, financial intermediation. Next, remember this point, I'll explain this financial intermediation part or intermediary in detail. Next one, Lamai, the main difference between commercial banks and other financial institutions is that, highlight Lamai, commercial banks are able to provide current account, demand deposits facilities to their customers. Remember, right? This is the main distinct character of commercial banks with comparison to other financial institutions. Sandil, same puta. Tracking the voice, so Titma?
Sometimes
Sometimes. Okay.
here it's raining. That's why I think.
Okay. Yeah. Next one, Lamai, remember this point also. The main objective of a commercial bank is to maximize profit because these are public limited companies. In Sri Lanka, Lamai, remember, if someone needs to start a commercial bank, that organization or that company must be a public limited company, Lamai. Must be a company public limited. Or PLC කියලා තියෙන අන්තිමට. Okay, the Lamai. Private limited companies cannot start a commercial bank. All commercial banks must be, remember, that is the compulsory requirement. Okay, must be PLCs, right? Public limited companies. Okay, so it's a company, Lamai. It's normal private sector business. So main purpose is to maximize profit, Lamai. Remember, main purpose is to maximize profit. Right? Every commercial bank wants to maximize profit. What is the main function, Lamai? Financial intermediation. Remember, financial intermediation. They want to maximize their profit through financial intermediation. I'll explain what financial intermediation is. Lamai. Right, remember. What is the main objective of commercial bank, Sitma? What is the main objective of a commercial bank?
Maximize
Profit
profit.
maximization. Main function, how do commercial banks achieve or the achieve this target, Lamai? Through what is the business?
Financial intermediation.
Financial intermediate. Okay, the Lamai, right? Because they want to maximize profit as their the private limited, sorry, public limited companies, Lamai. Normal private sector businesses, they want to maximize profit. Yes, so commercial bank do it, Lamai. Main objective is to maximize profit. They try to do it through financial. That's a story. Okay, the Lama. I'm going to explain the what financial is. Right. Okay, 1 minute. Right. Right. Lamai, financial intermediation means you are given the box and the middle of the page, Lamai. There's a separate chart box, and next to the box there are some dotted lines. Okay, the Lamai. Right. Financial intermediation. Buddha, when it comes to normal economy, mainly there are two parties. There are two parties. The first one is Lamai. They have some excess funds, Lamai, surplus of money, right? These are called surplus units. They have something excess, not goods and services. We are talking about money. Okay, the Lamai. Commercial banks mean money, money, money everywhere, money, Lamai. Okay, the Lamai. Their business is the handling money, financial intermediate. So when it comes to every economy, Lamai, there are two parties. Who are the two parties? Number one, Lamai, the people who have excess funds. People who have excess funds. These are called, Lamai, surplus units. These are called surplus units. Right, Lamai? Example, assume your monthly income is 500,000, expenditure is 200,000. Okay, the Lamai. Then you have excess fund of 300,000. Okay, the Lamai. Then your call, or you can be categorized as a surplus unit, Lamai. You have some excess money. Then you are willing to invest, or if you have excess money, Lamai, you can invest somewhere. You can save somewhere. Okay, the Lamai. So these are called surplus units. Other one is Lamai, deficit units. What is meant by deficit units? They need to borrow funds, Lamai. Deficit units. Deficit units. Right? They need to borrow funds lamai. They need funds for their financial needs to maybe start up a business, okay the lamai, to expand business or for maybe lamai consumption activities. Anyway, there are lack of, okay the lamai, the lack of finance, they need to borrow funds. Okay the lamai, these are the two main parties. These are called the financial needs of people lamai, right? Some are willing to deposit their excess funds, some people need to borrow funds to satisfy their not the normal needs lamai, the physical needs. These are financial needs, remember. Okay the lamai, then bank act as a middleman lamai. Bank or act as a middleman between these two parties. These two parties lamai. This is a financial intermediary. Financial intermediary. Or we can say bank lamai. Okay the lamai. What bank does is bank accept these deposits from surplus units lamai. Okay. Bank accept these excess funds from surplus units. Okay the lamai. Deposits. Okay the lamai. But remember, when banks accept deposits from surplus units lamai, surplus units expect something from banks, okay, which is interest lamai. So banks have to pay interest for these deposit holders lamai. Then financial intermediary or banks have to pay something in return to surplus units lamai. This is called deposit interest rate lamai. Deposit interest. Deposit interest. Deposit interest. Deposit interest. Okay the lamai. So normally it's a percentage. Okay the lamai. Now the commercial banks have accepted deposit from the people who have excess funds lamai. Now lamai, commercial banks give these funds collected to deposit units as loans lamai, right? Lend out these collected deposit funds are lent out to deposit the deficit units lamai. Those who need to borrow funds lamai. You get the point? So here lamai, the banks provide advances, or we can say loans or advances. Loan or advances to deposit units. Loans and advances to deposit units. Okay the lamai. When providing these facilities, loan facilities to deficit units lamai, bank expects something from deposit units. Kunara, what do bank expect from deposit units when providing loans?
Interest.
What do they expect lamai? What do bank expect from deposit units? Interest lamai. Yes, bank are not willing to provide these loans or offer these loans at free of charge lamai. They expect something. They expect deposit units to pay interest lamai. These are called loan interest rates. This is called loan interest rate. Loan interest. Kunara, are you there? Kunara, hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, the lamai. Right. Normally lamai, yeah, this is also percentage. Normally lamai, this the loan interest rate, let's say delta, sorry, the percent changing with the y, this is x. Normally lamai, the loan interest, this means the percentage y, loan interest rate is more than deposit interest rate lamai. Okay, the lamai. This is called profit margin of commercial banks lamai. Profit margin. Example lamai. Because deposit interest is a cost for the bank lamai. This is expenditure for the bank because commercial banks have to pay interest to surplus units. Assume lamai deposit interest rate is 7%. Deposit holders have to be given 7% interest by banks. This is an expenditure for banks lamai. What about loan interest? It is an income. Okay, the lamai. Assume lamai the loan interest rate is 15%. Normally lamai loan interest rate is always greater than deposit interest lamai. Okay, the lamai. Then you can say Sandil, the income or the loan interest rate is 15%. This is income for the bank, and deposit interest rate is 7%. The difference between these two, it's mean 8% is the profit margin for the commercial bank lamai. This is called profit margin. Profit margin of financial intermediation. How do they make profit? How do they make this 8% profit lamai? By selling goods and services? No. How do they earn lamai? Through financial intermediation. This is called financial intermediation. Every economy lamai, remember, financial intermediation is critical, right? So important part to run the economy lamai, to function the economy, right? This is called financial intermediary or financial intermediation. This is the main function of a commercial bank lamai. Main function. Example lamai, the Guru Nivasa Institute, the main function is to provide educational services. Okay, the lamai. Pereira and Sons lamai, what is a business? Their business is to provide some bakery items lamai. When it comes to banks lamai, their business, the main function is financial intermediation. Simple way lamai, we can say financial intermediation is accepting deposits from the surplus units and lend these funds out to deficit units lamai. Sorry, surplus units and from surplus units to deficit units. This is called financial. හරිද? ඔය මොන නම ගහගෙන හිටියත් ළමයි ඔය තියනවා නේද? මොකද්ද? මොකද්ද ළමයි? ජාතියේ කියනවා නේද? What is the slogan of People's Bank ළමයි? ජාතිය පහ පහන්ට එක PBOC නේ. ජන හද හඳුනන මහජන බැංකු තියෙනවනේ ළමයි. අනාගතයට ඩයලොග් නේ. ඔබ තියෙනවානේ මොනවා කිව්වත් ළමයි HNB, සම්පත්, commercial, DFC මොනවා කිව්වත් ළමයි මේක තමයි කරන්නේ. මම කියන එක තේරෙනවද? This is the main function, financial. යාලා මාර ඇඩ්වාන්ස් යාලා හොඳට එක්ස්ටැබ්ලිෂ් වෙලා තියෙන බිස්නසස්. හැබැයි මේක තමයි කරන්නේ ළමයි. නේද? Yes, one of your classmates has asked a question. Only way they double the sum of money. Yeah, yes. Okay, the lamai. Right. Uda, can you write this down? Middle of the page, there's a separate. This is called financial intermediation. Okay, the lamai. Right. And also lamai, this is called indirect financing. What? Indirect financing. Why? Commercial banks act as a middleman. Okay, the lamai. Here there is no direct connection between surplus units and deficit units. Okay, the lamai. Yes, there is a connection between these two through banks lamai. This is called indirect financing. There's another the concept called direct financing. Direct financing means lamai, the connecting surplus units and deficit units without any middleman, intermediary. That's called direct financing. Clear the lamai? That are much practical in this world lamai. Right now, the indirect finance is the most famous one. Clear the lamai? Right? Can you write this down? And the profit margin equals the difference with or delta y minus delta x ළමයි. ඒක තමයි යාළගේ profit margin එක. නේද ළමයි? මොකක් හරි issue එකක් තියෙනවා නම් කියන්න ළමයි. Next to the diagram, you can say role of financial intermediary. Role of financial intermediary. Or we can say lamai indirect finance. Indirect finance. Let me know once you are done. Banks are, expertise lamai. Okay, they have specialized in this financial intermediation, so they know how to accept deposits proper way. Okay, the lamai, the lending. Okay, they are expertise, right? Very specialized consultants or specialized the financial institutions. So they know how to do this business proper way lamai. Right, making a high profit margin. Let me know once you are done lamai. This is financial intermediary or banks. Okay, the lamai. Here deficit units, here surplus units. Deposits, lending, deposit interest rate, loan interest, right? The difference between these two interest rate is called profit margin of financial intermediation. Okay, this is the way of making profits by commercial banks lamai. They don't have other business lamai. This is the main business, financial intermediary. Okay, the lamai. Shall we move on lamai?
So what is the profit margin? It's not clear.
Profit margin equals delta y, sorry, percentage y. Y mean loan interest rate minus x mean deposit interest rate. Okay, the lamai. Difference between these two interest rates are called profit margin of commercial banks. Clear the? Sitma, harida, clear the?
Clear, sir?
Okay, right. Lamai, do you need more time? You done? No? Why you have been so silent today? Lamai?
So can you please repeat profit margin?
Huh?
Can you please repeat that one profit margin?
Are you talking about this point?
Yes, sir.
Profit margin equals interest rate y. Y. Interest rate y. Interest rate y. Y means loan interest rate minus percentage x. Percentage x mean in my case it's deposit interest rate. Harida. the difference between loan interest rate of banks, this is an income for the bank, this is deposit interest rate, which is an expenditure for the bank. This the you know, the difference between these two is called profit margin of banks law. දැන් හිතන්න බෑන්ක් එක ලෝන් එකක් දෙනකොට 20% charge කරනවා. හැබැයි depositorsලට දෙන්නේ 10% විතර. Then this is 10% is the profit margin for the commercial bank. හරිද? Okay, ළමයි? Right. Then look at the board, ළමයි. Role of financial okay, right. Look at the board. Role of financial intermediary. Number one, financial intermediation, ළමයි. Right? First one, financial intermediation. Financial intermediation. Okay, the ළමයි. It means these banks or financial institutions create a link between surplus units and deficit units in the economy. And also, ළමයි, this financial intermediation is very important. Why? These funds of those who have excess money, okay, the ළමයි, are given to those who need to borrow funds. Okay, the ළමයි. So this is very important for the, you know, this is, we can say, ළමයි, the, how to say that, example, ළමයි, assume this the loans are given to businessmen, ළමයි, to expand their businesses. Okay, the ළමයි. So it is the, you know, the good way of utilizing funds. Okay, the ළමයි. Banks have created a link. Okay, the ළමයි. Banks have created a link to flow funds from surplus units to deficit units. Did you get the point? දැන් මෙහෙම link එකක් තිබ්බේ නැත්තම් ළමයි, අර එලාට සල්ලි වැඩියෙන් තියෙනවා, යාලා නිකන් අතේ තියන් ඉන්නවා ළමයි, අපරාධයි. දැන් මෙතන businessman කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා, යාට expand කරන්න ඕන business. The economic growth, ළමයි. Right? The businessmen want to expand their businesses, but they don't have enough funds. So here bank does a, you know, great job creating a link between these two parties, ළමයි. That's called financial intermediate. Clear the ළමයි? The second one, write down ළමයි, risk reduction. ඒ මොකක්ද ළමයි? Risk reduction. Risk reduction. Look at the board, ළමයි. Risk reduction mean, as in, forget this part, ළමයි. No financial intermediary. There's no middleman, there's no bank between these two units, ළමයි. Now, just imagine this surplus units directly connected deficit unit. I assume Sigma has 500,000 excess money, ළමයි. Then Sigma wants to invest this one, right? Sigma wants to lend this 500,000 to someone else. Okay, the ළමයි, right? There's no financial intermediary, ළමයි. Then Sigma has to find a person who needs to borrow funds. Okay, the ළමයි, because that is very risky process, ළමයි, because this is unknown person. We don't know the how we can say the financial capacity of this unknown person, and there is no process to evaluate his financial progress or financial capacity, ළමයි. But banks they are expertise, ළමයි. They know how to analyze customers. They know how to analyze, you know, the customer's wealth and background and everything before a loan is given. But we don't have such a capacity. Okay, the ළමයි. We have not specialized in financial intermediation. Okay, the ළමයි. So remember, then if you want to, or assume that forget this part, ළමයි, no banks. Then if surplus units directly connected with deficit units, ළමයි, they have the huge risk. Okay, the ළමයි. Sometimes this deficit units or person who borrow funds may not be able to pay your money with interest, ළමයි. It's a huge risk. But bank can absorb this risk, ළමයි, because bank know how to balance or how to manage these deficit units, ළමයි. the borrowers lamai. Did you get the point? The before loan is given lamai, they nicely analyze customers. Okay, the lamai, the financial background, okay, the lamai, and wealth, assets, and everything. Okay, the lamai, guarantors. Okay, they ask borrowers to bring guarantors lamai. Okay, the lamai, something as some assets as a security. Okay, the lamai, banks are expertise in this business lamai, but as an individual lamai, we can't do that. So banks can reduce the risk. Okay, the lamai, here bank work as a sponge risk absorption unit. Did you get the point? Right? The next one lamai, the aggregation. Aggregation mean lamai, just imagine no banks, right? No financial intermediary. Sitma wants to borrow 25 million funds, 25 million loan lamai, 25 million money. Then Sitma goes to පොලි මුදලාලි හරි කවුරු හරි ගමේ ඉන්න ළමයි. මම කියන එක යාලා banks නෙමෙයි, illegal or very informal businesses ළමයි. අර අපි කියන්නේ පොලියට සල්ලි දෙනවා කියලා. දැන් සිත්මට ගිහිල්ලා ආන්න පුළුවන් අංකල් මට මේ 25 million ඕනේ. Would that person be able to give 25 million to you ළමයි? 25 million, 50 million, 100 million. And also Sitma wants to pay back this loan in 25 years. Do such informal the people have such a capacity lamai? Kunara, Sachini? ඔය 100,000 200,000 ළමයි එහෙම loan එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් එයාලගේ මේ 25 million 50 million එහෙම ගන්න බෑ aggregation. But banks have massive lending capacity. They have enough funds lamai. If you want 100 million, it's okay lamai. Within 2 weeks 3 weeks banks can offer the loan. Okay, the lamai. And also for long period of time, you can pay it back in 25 years, 30 years might be. Okay, the lamai, that is called aggregation. Okay, so remember, due to these three functions, roles of banks or financial intermediaries lamai, banks or commercial banks or financial intermediation is so important for the the function of an economy. Did you get the point? Write this down lamai. Right, aggregation mean big money. Commercial banks can lend out the big funds, like the big amount. Okay, the lamai, that's called aggregation. Okay, the individuals don't have such capacity lamai. Individual lenders or the people who lend funds in villages lamai, like informal way. Okay, the lamai, they don't have such capacity. Clear the lamai? So aggregation mean big loans, and we can say lamai the pay it back in the 25 years or 20 years. Okay, the lamai, banks can offer such facilities. Okay, higher amount for long period of time. Clear the lamai? That's why financial institutions or financial intermediary or intermediation is so important. මොන හරි issue එකක් තියෙනවා කියන්න. Clear the බල? හරිද? Sitma, Sachini, Kunara?
Clear, sir.
Yeah. Right. Okay, lamai. Yeah. Next point, lamai. Shall we move on? Yes. Right. Okay, lamai. Then financial intermediation done. Remember, main function of a commercial bank is financial intermediation. Main objective is to make profit. Okay, the lamai. Right, next one lamai, functions of a commercial bank. Now you already know two functions, accepting deposits and lending funds. These are called primary functions of commercial. Okay, functions of commercial bank. Lamai, normally there are four functions of commercial banks. Mainly there are two functions of commercial banks. The first one is lamai, the primary function. Other one is lamai secondary function. Okay, the lamai. Look at the board. I would say lamai, banking and insurance. Banking and insurance. This business is the most risky business in the world. There are different types of industries lamai. Hotel, construction, tourism, travel agencies. Okay, the lamai. Education services, universities, hospitals, are different segments lamai, industries. Banking and insurance mean one of main industries in every economy. So I would say banking and insurance is the most risky. Okay, the lamai. It can bankrupt, okay, go bankrupt within few days lamai. That much of. Why? Because here the as financial intermediaries or banks give loans or make loans to deposit units, okay, the lamai, using depositors funds lamai, someone else money, not banks money. මේ කවුරුත් ඩිපොසිට් කරපුවා තමයි යා දෙන්නේ ළමයි ලෝන්ස් වලට. ඊයද ළමයි හදිසියවත් මේ කට්ටිය ඇවිල්ලා ඉල්ලුවොත් ළමයි. Bank know how to do it ළමයි, right? They know how to manage it very well. Okay, but banks can go bankrupt ළමයි anytime. Remember, that's why I told you, sir, riskier, the most risky business in the world. Clear? Right. Yeah, when talking about functions of commercial banks, functions of commercial banks, functions of commercial banks, functions of commercial banks, there are two main functions. Right? First one, primary function. What is a primary function? Main function of commercial banks ළමයි. Financial intermediary නේ ළමයි. ඒක දෙකක් තියෙනවා. මොකක්ද? Accepting deposits. First one is accepting deposits. Accepting deposits. Second one, making loans. Making loans to deposit units. These are called primary function. Banks do some other functions as well. These are called secondary functions. If you want, write this down. In your keyword, it's given in detail, right? Secondary. Secondary function. Okay, the lamai. There are two secondary functions. First one, lamai, urgency function, or we can say urgency services. Other one is lamai, utility services, general utility service. Okay, the lamai. It's mean in addition to financial intermediation or accepting deposits and making loans, lamai, bank, commercial bank does some other functions as well. Agency functions, services, and general utility services. Right, okay. Let's discuss in detail this. Right. Look at the board. හරිද ළමයි? Accepting deposits right now. Sorry. This is very simple ළමයි. One of the most important function of a commercial bank is accepting and safeguarding the deposits of public. A commercial bank shall accept such deposits under three main types of accounts ළමයි. Under three main types of accounts ළමයි. These are very well known. You can say what are the accounts or deposit facilities which are offered by commercial banks ළමයි. Number one, you can say saving deposits. Write down lamai. First one, saving deposits. Sorry, saving deposits. Second one lamai, fixed deposits. Fixed deposits. Can anyone tell me the similar word? Fixed deposits lamai. No one. Fixed deposits. Time deposits. Time or fix. Time deposits. And last one is the most important one lamai. Write down current account or demand deposits. Demand deposits. Demand deposits. Demand deposits. Okay, the lama. Or we can say current accounts. Current. Arne the lama. Right. Right. Next point says lamai. These deposits can be maintained in the matakada me dennawa lamai. What is mean by DCBU and FCBU? Anyone? Sandil?
Foreign currency banking.
Yeah, very good. Domestic current DCBU mean domestic currency bank units. FCBU mean foreign currency bank. ඒ කියන්නේ ළමයි මේ deposits මේ දෙකේම තියෙනවා. මම කිව්වා ඔයාලට අර units දෙකක් තියෙනවා කියලා offshore bank FCBU කියන්නේ offshore වලට. අරක domestic currency. Domestic අපි දන්නේ domestic currency එක විතරයි ළමයි. තව part එකක් තියෙනවා banks වල. අර මොකද NRFC ඊට පස්සේ RFC deposits යන්නේ ඒවට ළමයි. හරිද? Next one lamai. Yeah, this is according to 2004 annual report. Okay, the lamai. It shows how the contribution of different deposits. Okay, the lamai. Example, you can see demand deposits. How much is total share as a percentage lamai of total deposit? 6.2%. Demand deposits is 6.2. Banks, commercial banks. My total එක ළමයි, yeah, not only one bank. It's talking about all deposits of commercial banks. Can you see the screen ළමයි? Yes. Saving deposits, it's around 25.1. I'm talking about this. 25.1. And time deposit කියන fixed deposits වලට එයා තියෙනවා ළමයි 67.6. මම ඔයාලට කොහොමත් මේක කිව්වා ළමයි. The largest part of මතකද මෙයා? The largest part of M2B money supply is time deposits ළමයි. Okay the ළමයි. Time and here what I need to say here, Sri Lankan people ළමයි, they deposit their money in mostly in time deposits. Okay. Other deposits 1.1. Okay, the lamai. Right, then put a star mark and write down next to the table. ඒ කියන්නේ ගොඩක්ම සල්ලි තියෙන්නේ ළමයි time deposits. Clear the ළමයි. අර demand deposits ගොඩක් අඩුයි බලන්න. Demand deposits තියෙන ළමයි 6.2%. Because ළමයි normally demand deposits are used by businessmen ළමයි. because demand deposits are not given interest rate lamai. These are, you know, totally free money for the bank. No need to, or දන්නා එක නේද ළමයි, no need to pay interest on demand deposit. Current account වලට මේ අහිම මොකද interest pay කරන්නේ නැහැ bank එක. ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට මේක business වල තමයි use කරන්න check facility එක තියෙනවනේ ළමයි. හරිද? Right. You can say according to annual report, according to the annual report, time deposit. Time, or we can say lamai fixed deposits is the largest part of total deposits. Total right. Next one lamai, making loans. Yeah, making loans or advances. Making loan or providing advances. ඒක දන්නවනේ ළමයි. The making loan is the, you know, their main the income method ළමයි. Income source. Banks keep certain portion of the deposits with themselves as a reserves. Remember this word reserves. ළමයි, all deposited money cannot be given as loans. Part of deposits has to be kept as reserves. Okay ද ළමයි? ඒ කියන්නේ අර deposits ඔක්කොම දෙන්න බෑ මේ loans වලට. Okay. This the part of deposits which is kept in banks, okay the lamai, without lending out, is called reserves lamai, bank reserves, right? And the balance is given as loans to borrowers lamai. There are several types of loans provided by banks. මේවන වල දන්නවා ළමයි නේ, short term lending, overdraft එහෙම දන්නවනේ ද ළමයි, OD, overdraft, loans on short term projects, interbank daily rupee loan. I'll explain this, and this is called lamai interbank call money. මේවා ළමයි explain කරනවා, බය වෙන්න එපා. හරිද? මොනවාරි වට issue එකක් තියෙනවා නම් කියන්න. This is called interbank call money market. Call money market. Okay the lamai, right? It's also loan, remember. Next one lamai, long term lending. Loans offered to purchase capital assets, expand businesses lamai neda, start production industries මේවා වල දන්නවා ළමයි. Simple way ළමයි making loans. Okay ද ළමයි? මෙන්න මේක පොඩක් බලන්න. Commercial banks generate a flow of production and value addition to the economy. This is that's why commercial banks are so special ළමයි. Why? How do commercial banks create a value addition to the economy ළමයි? Mobilizing the excess funds owned by people across the economy, thereby channeling these inactive resources ළමයි. මං කිව්වේ ළමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ channel එක හරි වටිනවා ළමයි. මේ channel එක තිබ්බේ නැත්නම් ගොඩක් resources inactive, like unemployed ළමයි. ඔහේ අර නිකන් මිනිස්සු සල්ලි වැඩිපුර තියෙන යාලා තියාගෙන ඉන්නවා. ඒක ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන්න තැනකුත් නැහැ, දන්නෙත් නැහැ. අර රිස්ක් එකකින් හින්දා යා දෙන්න කැමතිත් නැහැ කාටවත් ළමයි. ඔහේ තියාගෙන ඉඳි අපරාධේ ළමයි. කියන්නේ ඒක අර සල්ලි ඕනි කෙනෙකුට, ගොඩක් වෙලාට බිස්නස්මන් කෙනෙකුට දුන්නා යා දාන යා බිස්නස් එක එක්ස්පෑන්ඩ් කරනවා. That's the businessman adds a value to the economy ළමයි. But he needs funds ළමයි. he needs to borrow funds. So financial intermediation or commercial banks create the link between uh, surplus units and deficit units, which helps to mobilize funds from surplus units to deficit units. And inactive financial resources can be converted into active or productive funds, or the funds which help to help economy to grow. Okay, the lamai inactive resources of the economy for productive economic activities by lending. Clear the lamai? Remember this word, mobilizing excess funds from surplus units to deficit units and create value addition to the economy. Clear neda lamai? Then urgency services. Urgency services mean lamai sometimes banks work as an urgent on behalf of their customers lamai. Harida. Example, read this, collecting dividends from income and capital gain received by customers. දැන් හිතන්න ඔයාට අපි කියමු ළමයි අර ගොඩක් වෙලාට ඔයාලා අහලා ඇති අර share issue කරනකොට company එකක්, right? When company issues shares press time, very press time, the bank work as an urgent on behalf of the company ළමයි. Okay ද ළමයි? සල්ලි ගන්න හොඳේ. ඒක මතක තියාගන්න, right? The urgency services mean is it's additional income for the bank ළමයි. Collecting and making payments on checks, bonds and promissory notes of customers ළමයි, clients. Maintaining records, contractual savings and payroll accounts of the customers. මේ payroll එහෙම සමහරලාට ගවර්න් මේ බැංක් එක handle කරනවා ළමයි. Acting as a financial urgent when dealing with third party institutions. Clear ද ළමයි? මේවට කියන urgency services. කියන්නේ customer කරන්න ඕනි දේවල් බැංක් එක on behalf of customer. Example ළමයි collecting this dividend and all. දැන් හිතන්න සිත්ම ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරලා තියෙනවා ජෝන් කීල්ස් කම්පැනි එකේ ළමයි. දැන් සිත්මට ටයිම් එකක් නැහැ ඕ ඩිවිඩන්ඩ් බලන්න ඒවා මැනේජ් කරන්න ටයිම් එකක් නැහැ. ඇත්තටම ඔක් කරන්න ඕන සිත්මනේ. හැබැයි සිත්මට පුළුවන් මේ මගේ මේ ටික බැංක් එකකට දෙන්න. මට මේක කරන්න වෙලාවක් නැහැ බැංක් එක. ඔයා මේ වැඩේ කරන්න. Collecting deposits. Bank work as an urgent on behalf of customers. Collecting dividends, income, capital gains. Okay, the lamai. Especially when issuing shares by a company at the very press time. Okay, bank helps. Issuing debentures. Agency service. General utility services mean the banks, the activities done by banks day to day lamai. Example, providing service related to international trade. ඔය මේ LCS එහෙම කියලා කියන්නේ ළමයි. දැන් ඔයා export import කරන කෙනෙක්ට අනිවාර්යෙන් ඔයා commercial bank එකට ගිහින් LC එකක් පටන් ගන්න. අහලා ඇති ඔයාලා ළමයි. නේද ළමයි? Dealing with bill of exchange, providing standing orders. මේවා දන්නව නේද ළමයි? Providing මේක දන්නව නේද ළමයි? Safety locker services. ඔයාට පොඩි සිකුරිටි ගැන පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා හිතන්න ඔයාලට තියෙනවා ජුවලරි ගොඩක් තියෙනවා ඊට පස්සේ නේද ගොඩක් ඇසෙට්ස් තියෙනවා නම් ඔයාලට පුළුවන් මේ බැංක් එකට ගිහිල්ලා දෙන්න ළමයි. then bank safeguard your assets, especially jewelry and some other valuable assets, maybe them or something ළමයි. Okay, the deed of lands can be given to banks ළමයි. These are called safety locker services. මේ ස්ටෝරි එක දන්නව නේද ළමයි? Safety locker services. Have you ever heard this before? Hello? Punara, safety locker services?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone? Issuing credit card, debit card. අර මේවා හර නිකන් අර හරි usual නේ ළමයි. මේවට කියන අර හැමදාම banks කරන ඒවානේ ළමයි. ලියද ළමයි. මේ ලාස්ට් එක බලන්න. Providing facilities to make utility bill payments and other services such as credit card, debit card facilities. මේවට කියනවා general utility services. Main function එක financial intermediate. ඉතින් මේවත් කරනවා ළමයි. තේරුණාද? They earn a significant income from secondary functions as well. What are the secondary functions, lamai? What do banks do as secondary function other than primary function? General utility services and working as an agent on behalf of customers. Okay, the lamai. These are the services. Remember, lamai. Okay. Then lamai, very important part of this lesson, balance sheet of a commercial bank. Counting කරන අය මේ වචනේ නෑ ළමයි count. Balance sheet ඔයාලා මෙන්න මේකමයි gonna get at the statement of financial position. මොකක්ද ඒකේ short form එක ළමයි සිත්ම statement of S. ළමයි what is mean by statement of the short form or abbreviation of statement of financial position? S.
SOFP.
SO.
FP.
Okay. S. එම නේද? Financial position. හරිද? Right. We are going to talk about balance sheet of a commercial. FP. Okay, right. Then raise your hands, students. Those who are not doing accounting, Lamai. Sachini. Anyone? Punara is not doing account. Anyone, Lama? Raise hands, those who are not doing account. Others doing. Punara, have you done this subject, so the accounting and business for O level? No.
Yes, sir.
Then you know. Okay, the Lama. Right. Balance sheet of a commercial bank. Puta, what is mean by balance sheet or statement of financial? Make your account teacher proud, Lamai. Yes, answer. Make her answer proud, Lamai. Yes. What is mean by balance sheet or statement of financial position? Sandeep, you have been doing accounting for I think more than 3-4 years, right? Since your O level grade 10, I think. Right? You might have prepared 1,000 balance sheets or statement of financial position. What does it mean and what does it indicate? Lamai, what does it indicate? Hurry up, hurry up. It quick. Anyone? Sitma? Ayatmi? What does it show? What is mean by financial position? Yes. That's why it's called statement of financial position.
Assets and liabilities.
Assets and liabilities. Okay. Any idea? Yes. Assets and liabilities are shown by a balance sheet or statement of financial position at particular date. Okay, the lamai. Yes. What else? But I'll prepare a small balance sheet. I'll prepare a small balance sheet. I'll prepare a balance sheet this way. Here, equity and liability, right? This side, equity and liabilities. This side assets. Right. Lamai, assume the, just imagine very small business lamai, not public limited company or private limited company. It's a small sole proprietorship business lamai. Right. Capital, assume lamai, capital mean owner's funds lamai. How much owner has invested on this business? Assume lamai it's 300,000. Then lamai, what else? Capital. Then non-current liabilities. Assume lamai there is a bank loan. Lamai, is there any mistake lamai? Please correct me because I don't like accounting subject. Okay, the lamai. Yeah, bank loan. Assume lamai. Yeah, bank loan, 5-year bank loan, 200,000. Okay, the lamai. Right. What else, Sigma? Capital, non-current liabilities, then current liabilities, right? Short-term liabilities. Assume lamai creditors. Creditors, there's another 100,000. Then total equity and liabilities 600,000. Then lamai this the amount of assets and equity and liability should be equal to value of total assets. Isn't it lamai? Here non-current assets. In non-current assets mean long-term assets. Long-term assets. Example, let's say property, plant and equipment. Okay, the lamai. Land, buildings. නෑ අර ඔයාලගේ බෑමොකක්ද මේ ඉන්කම් සොරි මේ ස්ටන්ඩඩ් ෆයිනන්ශල් පොෂ් සොරි ස්ටේට්මන්ට් ඔෆ් ෆයිනන්ශල් පොෂන් එක අර මෙහෙමනේ දැන් හදන්නේ අර මට මේක ලේසිලම ඒ හින්දා අර ඔයාලා පහලට දාන එක මම මේ පැත්තට දාලා හරිද okay property plant and equipment assume lama it's 300,000 then there is let's say fixed deposit or investment of 100,000. Then current assets, inventories. Cash in hand. Assume all these current value of current assets is 200,000. Then finally, asset side and equity and liability side must be balanced. Assume it's like 600,000. This is total assets. My next question, Lamai, what does it show? Yes, assets and liabilities and equity. What is mean by equity and liability? Has become now a counting lesson, Lamai. But I remember this equity and liability side shows how business has raised funds, right? From what sources? Business needs funds, Lamai. Without money, then how can business operate? They need funds. Remember, equity and liability side shows how business has raised funds from which sources. Example, Amai, this business has collected, raised how much? 600,000 funds from different sources. Owner has invested, owner has put 300,000, another 200,000 from a bank as a loan, other 100,000 from a creditor. Clear the lamai? So remember this equity and liability side shows the way of financing lamai, the sources of financing. හරිද? ඒ කියන්නේ සල්ලි කොහොමද බිස්නස් එකට ආවේ ළමයි? What are the sources? Right? Asset side, how these funds have been invested ළමයි. දැන් මේ 600,000 එකට උන දෙයක් තියෙන්න එපයි ළමයි. මොකටද අපි ඒක use කරේ? Okay ද ළමයි? Asset side shows how business has invested these collected funds or raised funds on different activities. Yes, lamai, out of 600,000, 300,000 is invested on property, plant and equipment. Other 100,000 in maybe investment, maybe fixed deposit lamai or share market. Other 200,000 is kept or is held in current assets lamai. Clear the lamai. So remember, the balance sheet shows or statement of financial position shows how business has raised funds and how those funds are invested in different sources. That's why lama this six the value of equity and liability side, the amount of the total value of equity and liability should be equal to asset value lama. Why? Then this raised funds need to be invested lamai. Okay, the lamai. If they have not invested lamai, they must be in even cash. This cash in hand lamai. Okay, then assume cash in hand 20. Just imagine lamai 20,000. What does it mean? Without investing this 20,000, the business has kept this 20,000 in its hand. Clear the lamai. Anyway, that's why if you add these all equity liabilities and asset, the value must be okay. The lamai. I repeat, what does liability side show? How business has raised funds from what are the sources lamai? From which sources? Here, asset side shows lamai how business has invested these raised or collected funds on different activities. Currently, the kilo lamai. This is called balance sheet. ඕක තමයි ඔය accounting වල කරන්නේ ළමයි. ක්ලියර්ද බලන්න ළමයි? මොකක් හරි issue එකක් තියෙනවා නම් කියන්න. මම කරන්න. හරි. සිත්ම සන්දීල් උනාරා? No.
Clear, sir.
Yeah. Right. Now I am going to move to the balance sheet of a commercial bank ළමයි. නේද ළමයි? Right. Read it ළමයි. It is a statement which shows, yes, as you said, is a statement showing assets, liabilities, and equity of a business at a particular date, Lama. Yes, normally you know the balance sheet or statement of financial position is prepared at particular date, not for year. Next one, Lama. The bank balance sheet helps to analyze. Highlight the word, Lama. Sources of funding. How do you know sources of funding, Lama? To which side of balance sheet we need to look at, Lamai, to analyze sources of funding, asset side or liability side?
Liability.
How the funds are utilized in asset side, Lamai, to make profits, and how funds are used to ensure confidence of depositors. So that's talking about balance sheet of commercial banks, Lamai, right? Right. Then, Lamai, these are the liabilities in the commercial banks. Commercial banks balance sheet, these are the items in the liability side. This means how a commercial bank has raised funds. The sources of raising funds. Number one, deposits lamai. දැන් ඕක normal business එකකට නෑනේ ළමයි. Normal business එකට deposits කියලා liability එකක් නෑනේ. But commercial banks, the one of main liabilities is, or the way of raising fund is deposits lamai, because they can accept deposits. Deposit means a liability. Why? Someone else money lamai. The commercial bank is liable to pay this money or deposited money when they request. Right? So remember, deposits here, both of them, demand deposits, saving and time deposits, both of them can be categorized as deposits lamai. Deposit. So normally we analyze commercial banks liability side. There are three main sources of funding, raising funds. Number one, deposits. Harida. Second lamai, deposits mean all deposits, right? Fixed deposits, saving deposits, and current deposits. Second one lamai, equity. Equity mean owner's money. මේ private public limited ළමයි. There's a owner's portion ළමයි. Owner has invested something. That's a one of the financing method ළමයි. Way of finance, source of financing, equity or share. We can say shareholders' money. Shareholders' money. හරිද ළමයි? Third one is ළමයි other borrowings. Borrowings. Loans මේ commercial banks වලට loans තියෙනවා ළමයි. ඒ deposits නෙමෙයි. The loans normally ළමයි commercial banks can borrow funds mainly from central bank. මේ loans එන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට CBSL වලින් එනවා. From other commercial banks, that is called money at call. ඒ කියන්නේ වෙන commercial bank එකකින් අපිට loans ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකට ඒකත් liability එකක්නේ. Money at call mean loans taken from other commercial bank. මේක අපි කතා කරනවා ළමයි වැඩි හිතන්න එපා. Money at call. Other one is ළමයි CBSL, money at call and from foreign banks ළමයි. Foreign banks. Foreign. Okay ළමයි. ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් මේ ඇනලයිස් කරලා ටිකක් අර ඩීටේල් විදියට තමයි ඔයාලට මේ 6 කියලා දීලා තියෙන්නේ. There are 6 items. Deposit, demand deposit, saving and time අපිට දාන්න පුළුවන් deposits වලට ළමයි. Other borrowings mean the borrowings or loans that commercial bank has already taken ළමයි. Right? Normally commercial banks borrow funds from three main sources: central bank, from other commercial banks and foreign banks ළමයි. හරිද? මොකක් ඉෂුව එකක් තියෙනවද කියන්න. Then ළමයි owners capital මේ reserve funds මේක have you done company accounts ඉත්ම? තාම නැද්ද? Company
Not
account?
yet.
Not yet, right. Then you know the reserve funds and undistributed profit means the part of a shareholder's money. It belongs to equity ළමයි. හරිද? Right, these are the දැන් මෙහෙම සමහරලාට questions අහනවා ළමයි. Name 3 sources. Name or list down 3 sources of funding of a commercial bank ළමයි. Or we can say sometimes it says there's a question in 2012 paper. State 3 main sources of funding. Or how can a commercial bank raise funds? What are the different sources? Okay, the lamai. Right. Other borrowings contain yes මේ interbank borrowings කියන ළමාර මම call money කිව්වේ. debenture වැඩි හිතන්න එපා මේ repurchase agreement මේ ඔක්කොම ඉස්සරහට. මේ repurchase agreement කියන්නේ මේ the borrowings from central bank. හරිද? Right. හරිද බලන්න liability side එක මොකක් හරි issue එකක් තියෙනවද සන්දීල්? සචිනි අයත්මි no. But I had given you a small statement of financial position of I think national HNB bank. Look at page number 8. හරිද පස්සේ ගෙදර ගිහිල්ලා මීට බලන්න. හරිද? මේ බලන්න මේකේ asset sorry liability side එක. මේකේ liability and equity have been given separately ළමයි. හරි? Liability මේකේ හරිද? Due to banks mean ළමයි the loans from other banks මේ derivatives ඒවා වැඩි හිතන්න එපා. මේ ළමයි due to depositors. Due to depositors. Look at ළමයි that is the highest amount. What does it mean ළමයි? The commercial this HNB bank has raised more funds from deposits. Okay ද ළමයි? And other liabilities simple way you can say ළමයි the liability mainly liability side consists of deposits and other borrowings ළමයි. දැන් මේකේ ගොඩක් තියෙනවා අර tax payable ඒ ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. මේවට company එකක් නේ ළමයි. අනිත් එක මේවා මේ මොනවද අපි කියන්නේ මේවට consolidated ළමයි. මේවට group of companies ළමයි. සම්පත් බැංක් එක ගත්තොත් එයා අර separately individual එකක් නෙමෙයි. එයා group එකක් ළමයි. ඒ group එක ඇතුලේ ගොඩක් තියෙනවනේ ළමයි. valuable finance සම්පත් ඔය වගේ එක ගොඩක් තමයි එයාලගේ එකට අපි කියනවා මේ consolidated. එතකොට අර මාර ගොඩක් තියෙන liabilities ළමයි. අර අපි ඔයාලගේ level එකේ කතා කරන normal හරි simplified balance sheet. ඕකේද ළමයි? අර accounting කරන අයට සමහර ඒවා අහුවෙයි නැත්නම් ඉතින් අවුලක් නැහැ. එහෙම ලොකුවට හිතන්න එපා. මම නිකන් දැම්මේ ඔයාලට පොඩි idea එකක් ගන්න. හරිද? මෙතන තියෙන sorry assets වලට අපි තාම ගියේ නෑ නේද? මේ equity තියෙනවා ළමයි. equity වල මෙන්න මේ ටික මතක තියාගන්න. stated capital mean ළමයි මේ owners money, the share capital, statutory reserve fund and retained profit, other is all are owners funds ළමයි. මේ තියෙන total shareholders equity. Okay, remember the what shareholders equity simple way ළමයි, the how much owner has invested. Okay ද ළමයි? Right. net assets value per ordinary share මේ share value එක ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා ළමයි. හරිද? මේක තමයි HNB එකේ the price of one share 400 මේක 2022 වල 2020 වල බලන්න මේ share price එකත් එයා දීලා තියෙනවා. net value assets value per ordinary share. හරි නේද ළමයි? Right. Let's move to asset side. Right. Assets in the commercial bank balance sheet. Putha in accounting, how do you prepare asset side? Do you consider liquidity? දැන් මේකේ බලන්න ළමයි. ඔයා accounting වල කොහොමද balance sheet sorry මේ asset side එක organize කරන්නේ ළමයි? Property plant and equipment. Second one investment. පුතා property plant and equipment, is it least liquid asset or most liquid asset? Liquidity mean like its ability to convert assets into cash. ඉක්මනට මේවා cash කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? වෙලා යනවද ළමයි? Yes, very good. Least. Okay ද ළමයි? These are very low liquid assets. It takes time to convert these assets into cash or as a medium of exchange. To convert to a medium of exchange. That make a least liquid asset. Least. Investment mean it's liquid than property plant and equipment. Then final one is like cash in hand. Sandeep, is it liquid, least liquid or highest liquid? Cash in hand means perfectly liquid. Then what I need to say, no, when preparing normal balance sheet, statement of financial position, assets are organized from least liquid to most liquid lamai. Emanel, lowest liquid assets to it's called ascending, ascending order. Least 0 to 0 liquidity to 100% liquidity. Emanel lamai, නැද්ද? යෝ lamai accounting. නේද? නැද්ද? Am I correct lamai? When preparing normal balance sheet?
Yes.
Yes. You organize your assets or the record your assets, the items of assets from least liquid to most liquid, the perfectly liquid. Yeah, cash at last. This means the highest liquidity or perfect liquidity assets. හැබැයි ළමයි commercial banks එක business එකක් තමයි normal private public limited company, but remember we put our assets other way, highest liquid assets to lower liquid asset. උඩම තියෙන්නේ liquidity එක වැඩි මේක ළමයි. clear ද ළමයි? perfect liquid assets. යටම තියෙන්නේ ළමයි least liquid or illiquid assets. clear ද ළමයි? එක පොඩක් so there's the main difference between your balance sheet, normal balance sheet and bank's balance sheet. How to put assets lamai, but it's order descending order of liquidity. Descending order. The highest liquid asset is in the top. The lowest one or the least one is in the bottom. Okay, the lamai. So remember the commercial banks balance sheet, assets are organized or recorded from descending order of liquidity or from highest liquid assets to lowest liquid. Keep that point in your mind. Okay, lamai? Right. There are three main items in asset side. First one lamai monetary items. Monetary items. These are highly liquid lamai. Highly liquid. Cash in hand. Due from central bank mean lamai. Can you remember that this one? What called no. Yes, RR. This is the money deposited. Money අර ළමයි අපි අර මෙහෙම ගත්තේ high powered money වල what are the three parts of high powered money? H equals CP plus CKB plus RR කියලා ගත්තා නේද ළමයි? ඔය CKB කියන්නේ cash in hands. Okay ද RR කියන්නේ දරුවෝ මේ the commercial banks deposits at central bank. Every commercial bank has to deposit money in a current account at central bank. This is called RR. They are highly liquid. CKB mean cash in hand with commercial banks. RR mean the deposited, this deposits owned by commercial banks, but this deposits at central bank. Anytime they can convert this money into cash. Highly liquid. Highly liquid. So if you want, write it down. Then due from domestic banks again අර දැන් මේක පටල ගන්න එපා ළමයි අර අතනක් තිබුණා මේ මේ borrowings from other banks එතන කියන්නේ ළමයි මේ වෙන banks වලින් මේ අපි මේ bank එක ගත්ත loans තියෙන්නේ මෙතන තියෙන්නේ වෙන bank එකකට දුන්නේ ඒවා clear due from domestic assets mean these are receivable right this shows the loan given by this bank to other commercial banks. Cash items in the process of collection. අර ඔයාලා දන්නවනේ අර මොනවද අර ඔයාලා හදන්නේ accounting වල. මොකද්ද ළමයි ඒකට කියන්නේ statement නෑ. Bank reconciliation statement. ඒකේ තියෙනවා නේද unrealized checks. මොනවද ඒකට කියන්නේ deposited but මට කියන්න පොඩ්ඩක් මට මතක නෑ ළමයි. Deposited but unrealized. අයියෝ ළමයි. Help me. I can't remember. Not yet realized ළමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ බැංක්ස් වල money තමයි හැබැයි ඒවා පොඩ්ඩක් realize වෙන්න පොඩි time එකක් යනවානේ. ඒවත් money items වලට තමයි ගන්න. Cash items in the process of collection. ඒවා ටික දවසක් යනවල දන්නවා මේ කතාව නේද? Then foreign currency in hand and balances due from bank abroad. Foreign currency in hand. Puta, why foreign currency in hand is in part E, fifth category? Are they not perfectly liquid? Foreign currency lamai, are they not liquid as domestic currency? No. Why? Inside Sri Lanka lamai, in Sri Lanka we cannot use foreign currency in transactions lamai. We have to convert this foreign currency into domestic currency, so it takes time. It's the low liquidity than cash in the cash in the domestic currency in hand. That's why it's in fifth one. ලික්විඩිටි එක ටිකක් අඩුයි ළමයි. කැෂ් අපේ ඩොමෙස්ටික් කරන්සි වලට වඩා ඒක ටිකක් අඩුයි. ඒක කන්වර්ට් කරන්න එපා ළමයි. ඒකට ටයිම් එකක් යනවා. සමහරට there might be a capital loss. මතකයිනේ liquidity ළමයි. Right. These are called money items. Remember ළමයි, these money items are highly liquid ළමයි. Highly liquid or perfectly liquid. Example, plus 2 are perfectly liquid. Others are highly liquid. Remember ළමයි, these assets or money items are really important, or they are kept by commercial banks to achieve liquidity objective lamai. On commercial bank එකට අනිවාර්යෙන් ළමයි cash තියෙන්න ඕනි යාගාව. නැත්නම් අපි කියනවා highly liquid assets තියෙන්න ඕනි. මේකට අපි කියනවා for what? To achieve liquidity objective lamai. Liquidity. I'll explain this point, right? Liquidity. Okay, the lamai. These money items are kept by commercial banks for liquidity purpose. Liquidity. Liquidity mean lamai, this commercial banks have given this the depositors fund as loans lamai to someone else. So the commercial banks are liable to pay these depositors money when they request lamai. Any time we cannot predict the time lamai. Okay, the lamai. So remember, commercial banks have to protect the trust of general public, because this banking industry is totally based on trust. If general public does not trust any commercial bank, okay, the lamai, they won't deposit money. Okay, the lamai. ඇයි බලන්න ළමයි අපි දැන් සම්පත් බැංක් එකේ අපි සල්ලි දාන්නේ ඇයි ළමයි? We trust, we believe Sampath Bank will protect our money, safeguard my cash. Okay, the lamai. So remember, the commercial banks have to protect the trust of general public. Protecting trust mean lamai, when they ask, commercial bank should have enough cash to pay these depositors back, deposits back to depositors. Okay, the lamai. So commercial banks have to keep some assets or deposits as money items lamai. Remember, these are highly liquid, but profitability, no profitability lamai. දැන් සල්ලි අතේ තියන් හිටියා කියලා සෙන්ට්‍රල් බැංක් එකේ සල්ලි තිබ්බා කියලා ළමයි ප්‍රොෆිට් එකක් හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. No interest. හරිද? Then cash items in the process of collection, no any profit or no any income generation. Remember lamai, commercial banks need to balance two, these are called conflicting objectives. What is that? Conflicting objectives. Other objective is profitability lamai. They need to balance both of them, liquidity and also profitability. Liquidity is very important to protect trust of general public. Profitability is very important to satisfy owners lamai, because owners expect profit. Then bank has to make profit while keeping liquidity as well. Both need to be balanced at same time. Completing objectives mean lamai, if we achieve if we try to achieve liquidity objective, we have to sacrifice profitability objective. කියන එක ඔයාලට ක්ලියර් දන්නේ නැහැ ළමයි. ක්ලියර් නේද? අවුලක් නැහැ නේද මොකුත්? තමයි?
Clear, sir.
ක්ලියර් නේද? right. ඉතින් බැංක් එකක් බැලන්ස් කරනවා කියන්නේ ඕක තමයි ළමයි. ඒකනේ මේක මාර රිස්ක් කියන්නේ ළමයි. හරි. okay, I'll come to that completing objectives. Anyway, first item is money items ළමයි. Second one, investment securities. Right? The commercial banks invest these depositors funds on financial assets lamai, T-bills, treasury bonds, other securities, other investment in share market or somewhere. Okay, the lamai. These are not perfect liquid or these are moderate liquid. Okay, the lamai. If they want, they can convert these assets into cash, but it may take some time, maybe 2 days or 3 days. Might be. It depends on the market condition lamai. Right. Yeah, third one lamai, loan and advances. Remember lamai, loan and these are loans given to general public. These are assets for commercial banks lamai. Okay, the lamai. But remember, we need this category lamai. Commercial banks need loan and advances. Why? That is the main method of making profit or generating profit. So loans and advances, yes, is compulsory. It's required. But remember lamai, loans and advances generate high profit for the commercial bank, but these are illiquid assets lamai. Why? Banks cannot convert because these are predetermined loans lamai. The time period is well decided. These loans might have been given for 20 years, 30 years. බෑන්ක් එකට ඕන වෙනවා කියලා මේවා කෑෂ් කරන්න බෑ ළමයි. Normally loans and advances are called illiquid assets or very low liquid assets. Okay ද ළමයි? Remember these loans and advances are important to achieve the objective of earning profit ළමයි. Loans and advances generate sufficient income for the commercial banks. But illiquid ළමයි. Illiquid or very low. In some books ළමයි or some can say these are low liquid. Some can say illiquid ළමයි. Illiquid mean it takes time to convert these assets into cash. Okay the ළමයි. Next one ළමයි, the last category is fixed and other assets, building furniture, office equipment. නේද ළමයි? මේවත් assets තමයි. හැබැයි මේවා හරි low liquid. Don't ask ළමයි, it's not you know the prudent to ask whether it's illiquid or low liquid or high liquid, because the basic focus goes to goes on this money items and advances and loans ළමයි. But commercial banks need to have fixed assets as well. බලන්න clear ද කියලා ළමයි? මොකක් හරි issue එකක් තියෙනවද බලන්න. Okay, cash items are known as primary reserves ළමයි. Highlight the word primary reserves. Cash or trust එකට අපි කියනවා primary reserves කියලා. These primary reserves represents, highlight ළමයි, maximum liquidity assets of commercial bank. Liquidity කියන්නේ ළමයි හදිස්සියවත් depositors ලැබිලා සල්ලි ඉල්ලුවොත් දෙන්න සල්ලි තියෙන්න ඕන. ඔක්කොම loans වලට දීලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. Sometimes banks can be greedy ළමයි. If banks want to earn more profit, they have to make more loans. More loans mean illiquid ළමයි. Sometimes bank can be greedy and they are type of over lending. They try to be overlend. Overlending mean ළමයි they give more funds as loans, expecting more profit without keeping those funds as reserves. Okay the ළමයි. These assets are non-earning assets ළමයි, because these primary reserves don't make any profit or generate any profit to the bank. It provides financial security to the bank when cash or money dripping out. It's dripping out mean ළමයි when general public or depositors ask money, the commercial banks can pay depositors money at any time when they ask if they have enough primary reserves or we can say money items ළමයි. තේරෙද බලන්න? මේක පොඩ්ඩක් තියන්න ළමයි, මේක ඔයාලට දැන් කිව්වට තේරෙන්නේ නැති. There are two primary benefits from cash balances due from central bank. මේක මම පොඩ්ඩක් කරන්නම් පස්සේ ළමයි. මේක 2014 වල question එකක්. මේක මම අර commercial banking වල මොකද්ද මේ creation process එක කරනකොට මම ඔයාලට කරන්නම්. හරිද? දැනට පොඩ්ඩක් මේක. Okay ද ළමයි? Right. Next one ළමයි, assets after primary reserves such as investment securities and loans are Give me 1 minute ළමයි, I'll explain this point more detail way. Right, I'm going to talk about asset side, right? Only asset side, as we have completed liability side. Asset side, right? What are the assets of main assets of balance sheet of a commercial bank ළමයි? Tell me now. Tanbi, what is first one? Hey, anyone interested in banking industry? No? Anyone? Tanbi, yes. හැබැයි බැංක් මැනේජර් කෙනෙක් නම් වෙන්න එපා ළමයි. හරි. මම එනවා බලන්න තව ටික කාලෙ. බැංක් මැනේජර් කෙනෙක් නම් වෙන්න එපා ළමයි. අපරායි. එහෙම නෙවෙයි. බැංකින් වල යනවා නම් යන්න ඕන අර උඩටම යන්න ඕන. টপ. හරිද? ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් ඇනලිසිස්. ඔය බ්‍රාන්ච් එක නම් ඉන්න එපා. හොඳේ බැංක් මැනේජර් හිටියත් කමක් නැහැ පොඩි කාලෙකට උඩටම යන්න ඕන. හරිද? නේද ළමයි? හරි. the investment analysis. Okay ද මේක මාර හොඳ ඒරියා එකක්. පොඩක් රිස්ක් එක අනිත් එක පොඩක් බිසි ළමයි. ක්ලියර්ද? අර ටිකක් පොඩ ඇක්ටිව් ජොබ් එකක්. හොඳයි ඉතින් අර මං කියන්නේ අර බැංක් මැනේජර් මේ මොනවද අර කැෂියර් එක එහෙම එකක් නෙමෙයි කියන්නේ ළමයි. I'm talking about the top one. Top investment analysis side. Okay ද ළමයි. Risk management. Okay ද ළමයි. Right. Yeah, you can achieve. Yes, you can be. Not bank manager. I don't like that portion. I want my students to be, always top lamai, right? In the highest position of the hierarchy. Okay, right. Uh, in my Toastmasters club, lamai, found a guy, 23 years, 23 or 24, private, I think, Royal College, Royal Institute. There's a university in Pagoda. That economics degree will recognize one. I'm not promoting any organization. Uh, yes, that taken a degree from that private institute. Age 23 or 24. It's a financial analysis of HNB or commercial. I can't remember. Well, very young lamai. Okay. But he has gone to the top position few time period years. Okay, you can achieve. Right. Miss Dihan Disanayak. Right. Okay. Right. What are the assets, lamai? The first one is money items. Money items. Right, lamai. Money items, mainly, lamai. Remember, money items is kept by commercial banks for what? For what? To achieve liquidity purpose. Liquidity. Why do they need liquidity, lamai? To protect the trust of general public. To protect the trust of general public. Okay, the lamai. Then I'm not going to explain what are the items coming under monetary items, right? Remember, monetary items are highly liquid assets. Highly liquid or perfectly liquid. Press 2 are perfectly liquid. Press 2 කියන මෙන්න මේ ටිකට මොනවද ළමයි? Press 1 CKB. CKB mean the cash in hand. Other one is RR. RR mean the central bank. Sorry, the deposits at central bank. Right? I'm not going to explain other parts. Then second one, lamai. Forget investment part. Second one also. Forget it, lamai. Second one, the investment assets. I'm moving to third one. Loan and advances. Loans and advances. Remember, lamai, these assets, loans and advances, these are really important to make profits. To make profits, profitability. Profitability. Okay, the lamai profitability. Why do we need profitability? Why do commercial banks do profitability? To satisfy owners lamai. Huh? Or we can say to fulfill owners requirements lamai. They need profit. Owners requirement. Owners requirement. Okay, the lamai profitability. Remember lamai, these two objectives are conflicting. What does it mean lamai? To achieve liquidity purpose or liquidity, they need to have more money, the liquid assets lamai, cash in hand and cash with the deposits with central bank. Okay, the lamai, yeah, these are highly liquid, but profitability is low. Low mean no profitability lamai. Highly liquid mean lamai, profitability is low. Profitability is low. මෙතන මොකක්ද අවුල් ළමයි? Profitability is high but liquidity is low. Clear ළමයි? If the commercial banks keep more assets on monetary or money items as money items ළමයි, yes, they can achieve liquidity, but what happens to profitability? No profitability. Then complaint coming from owners ළමයි, because they have invested their hardly earned money ළමයි. Okay, they expect something, they expect some benefits. Who went? Okay, the lamai. Right. These are called conflicting objectives. So commercial bank has to balance both objectives. Remember, has to balance both conflicting objectives. Not only liquidity, but also profitability. Both are required. Remember, both are compulsory. It's compulsory to maintain both objectives at same time. Okay, the lamai. Any doubt?
No, sir.
No. Right. Okay, the lamai. Right. Then next point, lamai. Statement of finance version given. You can read them. You can go through these financial all assets there lamai. Read last point lamai. I'll wind up the session with this part after completing this part. Liquidity assets. Yes. Let's read this part lamai. Liquid assets are financial assets that can be quickly converted into cash without loss. Loss mean lamai capital loss, right? The need for commercial banks to maintain liquid assets is to obtain funds to day-to-day activities. These are some of transactions that require cash to be held in hand when deposit holders need to withdraw deposits. මේක පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න ළමයි මේ ඔයාලට මේක එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න එනවා මේක ගොඩක් ඇවිල්ලා තිනවා අනිත් එක මේ අර 4 marks වලට නෙමෙයි එන්නේ 6 marks 5 marks ගොඩකට එනවා how do commercial banks balance conflicting objectives like that okay ද ළමයි banks will turn into liquidity problem ළමයි banks will turn into liquidity problem when it lacks sufficient liquid assets to fund daily payments. When customers realize that banks often faces liquidity problems lamai, excessive borrowings or poor liquidity ඔය ETI finance වලට මේක තමයි උනේ ලා අර සක්විති රණසිංහගේ පද්ද golden key නේ ඒවා bankrupt උනේ මේ හින්දා තමයි ළමයි the bank may face liquidity crisis. Customers may try to withdraw their money and banks are likely to collapse in this situation. දැන් හිතන්න සිත්මගේ ඩිපොසිට් එකක් තියෙනවා සම්පත් බැංක් එකේ. සිත්ම හෙට ගිහිල්ලා ආවනම් මට මේ ඩිපොසිට් එක ගන්න ඕන. අර ස්ලිප් එකක් පුරවලා සල්ලි ගන්න යනවා. සම්පත් බැංක් එක කියනවා මේ අපිට සල්ලි නෑ ගෙවන්න කියලා. මොකක් වෙයිද? ඊට පස්සේ ළමයි සිත්ම හර හැම හතර වටේ ඔක කියාගෙන එන්නේ ළමයි. එහෙම නේද? අන්න සම්පත් බැංකුවේ ඩිපොසිට් කරනවා අයින් කරගන්න හොඳේ බෑන්ක්‍රප්ට් වෙන්න යන්නේ ඔයාලගේ සල්ලි නැතුව එහෙම කියලා හතර වටේට ඔක්කොම කියනවා ළමයි ඇවිල්ලා. ඊට පස්සේ අර සම්පත් බැංක් එකේ ඩිපොසිට්ස් තියෙන ඔක්කොම යනවා ඊළඟ දවසේ බැංක් එකෙන් ඩිපොසිට්ස් අරන්. එයා ගාව සල්ලි නෑ ළමයි එහෙම. නේද ළමයි? එයා ටිකයි තියන් ඉන්නේ රිසර්ව්ස් ඉතින් ඉතුරු ටික ලෝන්ස් වලට දීලා තියෙනවා. ඔතන තමයි බැංක් එකක් බෑන්ක්‍රප්ට් වෙන්නේ. ඔය ETI ෆයිනෑන්ස් වල බලන්න ඔය ස්ටෝරීස් ළමයි පොඩ්ඩක් කේස් ස්ටඩීස් බලන්න නිකන් ඔයාලා ටිකක් අහලා බලන්න. ගෝල්ඩන් කී ETI ෆයිනෑන්ස් තමයි මේ ළඟදිම බෑන්ක්‍රප්ට් වුනේ. තේරුණාද? මේ ඉතින් අර ලික්විඩිටි කියන එක අනිවාර්යෙන් තියෙන්න ඕන බැංක් එකකට. අර ලෝන් මොනවද මේ අර ප්‍රොෆිට් යට ප්‍රොෆිට් ඕනි තමයි. ප්‍රොෆිට් අර ඕනෑවට වඩා ප්‍රොෆිට් හොයන්න ගියොත් අවුල් යනවා ළමයි. clearද? Their money and banks are likely to collapse in this situation. Therefore, banks should maintain, not should lama, it must maintain a sufficient amount of liquid assets. Sufficient amount of liquid assets mean cash items. Cash items mean no profit, no profitability, no profits. Okay, the lama. Then why there should be a balance between liquidity and profitability? Every commercial bank needs to maintain a good balance between these two objectives. Uda, remember this to one page, right? This is very important. I got this the note from your professor's book, right? Okay, there's a question to 2022 asking how to balance. I mean the balance between these conflicting objectives for 6 marks, right? As well as objectives are known as conflicting objectives. Why are they called conflicting objectives? When one is achieved, another objective has to be sacrificed. If a commercial bank needs to maximize its liquidity, they keep their assets in cash. Liquidity or cash items godak තියෙනවා. This is the most liquid form of assets. However, bank cannot generate any income. On other hand, if bank aims to earn high profit, they have to lend money as loans and advances which have low level of liquidity. හරිද? ඊට පස්සේ කියනවා ළමයි commercial banks face what is this word ළමයි? Anyone? Kunara? Sitma? Bank pays a what? This is called dilemma ළමයි. Dilemma mean it's a puzzle. Okay ද ළමයි? In trying to secure both liquidity and profit. ඇත්තටම අමාරුයි ළමයි මේ දෙක බැලන්ස් කරනවා කියන්නේ මාර ගේම් එකක්. ඒක ඇත්තටම challenge එකක්. නේද ළමයි? ඔක බැලන්ස් කරන්න බැරි වුණාම තමයි බැංක් එකක් bankrupt වෙන්නේ. Although it is a challenging to maintain liquid assets and number of liquid assets mean first objective, number of loans mean profitability. Banks have to balance these two objectives by protecting public trust and making a profit simultaneously. Other businesses don't have such a challenging objectives. Clear the bala? Hari neda lamai? Then this is the introduction part for money creation lamai. Harida? Money creation process. Now you know in detail what commercial bank is, what financial intermediary is. Okay, the lamai main functions of commercial banks, especially balance sheet lamai. Balance sheet, assets, items, and liability side. What are the items in liability side? And how to balance conflicting objectives of commercial banks, profitability and liquidity. Okay, the ළමයි මේ ටික අදම බලන්න ගිහිල්ලා ඔයාලට past papers one ටිකක් දීලා තියෙනවා. මේ ටික ගෙදර ඉඳලා කරන්න. හරිද? Past paper questions advanced level 2009 identifying three important sources of raising funds by commercial banks in Sri Lanka. It's asking about liability side. What are the sources of funding? 2010 state the main functions of a commercial main functions of a commercial bank in Sri Lanka. What is mean by no not frictional lama? It should be fractional reserve banking. Mame kare na lama say 2018 A level, which of the following is a liability of a commercial bank balance sheet? Product කියමු ළමයි. Treasury bill. Is it liability or asset for a commercial bank? හරි අප ළමයි. Is it asset or liability for a commercial bank? ඔයාලට මතක නැත්නම් අර බලන්න ගිහිල්ලා ළමයි ඔයාගේ මොකද්ද balance sheet එක. Treasury bills කොහෙද තියෙන ළමයි? asset පැත්තේද liability පැත්තේද?
Assets.
Assets is investment assets ළමයි. Yes. Customer deposits. Sitma. Is it liability or asset for a bank?
Asset.
ඔන්න කිව්වා. Customer deposits.
Liability.
Liability. They are responsible to pay deposit. මෙයා කාගේවත් සල්ලි ළමයි liability එකක්. Loans and advances. Loans and advances given to public, not obtained. Loans and advances. Asset or liability. අයත් මේ.
Asset.
Asset. Very good. Is a more highest profit generating assets. Yes. Money at call. Money at call කියන ළමයි මේ අර අනිත් බැංක් වලට දීලා තියෙන loans. Money at call. Is also asset. Short. This is very liquid, not highly liquid, but the more liquid assets. Bill discounted also, it's a type of loan lamai. It's also asset. Here there's only one liability. You're asking about liability. Liability is the what is the liability? Customer deposits. Okay, the lamai. Yeah, next day we can start this money creation. Any doubt, lamai? Before I wind up the session.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Daru.
Will this part be in the exam this week?
Yes. Yeah, up to today part.
Okay, sir.
Okay, definitely you will be given a question for money and banking. Okay, the lamai. It's compulsory question, right? No choices. You have to do it because otherwise, lamai, is no point of doing this question. I'm wondering whether this part, yeah, we can include that part also. I have already prepared the paper, but I'll include one question part. Okay, the lamai. Right, your test is on lamai. Which day do you like? Sunday or Saturday night? Saturday. Others? Yeah.
Sunday, sir?
All lessons up to now. Yes, Sunday. Right. Okay.
No, Saturday is good.
Okay. I'll let you know the date. But anyway, the exam is on either Sunday or Monday. Sorry, Sunday or Saturday. Okay, the lamai. Exam is there. Right. Okay, lamai. That's enough today. Thank you for coming. Good night, everyone. Please go through the lesson. Not today itself. You cannot do it. But tomorrow. At least tomorrow. Okay. Right. Okay, lamai. That's enough today. Thank you for coming. Bye. Night.
Thank you, sir. Bye,
Bye.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night,
Bye.
sir.
Night.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Bye.